Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Bursa chart studies for next week. So as usual, we'll start with the indexes first. Then after that, we'll go over to the cases which are shortlisted for case study lah. Okay, so at the point that I'm doing is about 10 p.m. So the US index is actually still live lah. Okay, US, Hong Kong, and also Nikkei index, the futures are actually still live. So you can see it's still moving. But I will review it based on what I see from the current chart lah. Okay, we don't need the closing for the review. It cannot like literally from here then close down up to here. Okay, there can't be like a 4% correction all of a sudden. Okay, so we'll start off with the Nasdaq. So like I mentioned previously, Nasdaq was actually having a head and shoulders in tandem with all the other three indexes which I reviewed. And this head and shoulders actually broke down for the Dow Jones, US 500, and also the Russell 2000. However, it actually didn't break down really break down lah for the Nasdaq index. Okay, so you can see the head and shoulders over here, and then it was kind of supported about this zone. You know, it formed a lot of wicks over here and then actually rebounded. So there was no actual body that closed below this area. And subsequently, I think on Friday with the employment data, when it came out, it actually jumped down quite badly. I think it reached about this area, and then subsequently they found out something fishy about the data, and it eventually closed very high, very strong. So I did mention that we need to see, like, you know, a few more days of Nasdaq days or trading days before we can actually decide to see whether it's bullish or not. So since Friday, the following days has actually been not bad. I wouldn't say it's very good. Usually we will have strong continuous days, and from the third or fourth day onwards, we can start seeing whether it's actually a actual rally or not lah. Okay, so but that usually we use it on the S&P 500, which we'll be looking at this shortly. So on the Nasdaq side, I don't know whether you will come back to re-challenge the recent high, which is 15936, okay, which is about 16,000 range. But it will definitely meet some resistance at about this 15,600 area. Okay, so of course it has to bypass this before heading higher, and that will be the first resistance it will challenge lah. Okay, we will wait and see, but currently it seems not bad, because even the pullback from the high treasury yield increase still actually held the index at about 15090, not going lower. And even today, as I'm recording this video, you can see that it's actually held about that zone if it doesn't break later today lah. Okay, later tonight. Okay, so moving to the next one is the Dow Jones 30. So Dow Jones, you can see it broke down from the head and shoulders formation, and then it's now slowly climbing up. So as usual, the Dow Jones and the S&P, they are not as strong as the Nasdaq lah. Okay, the Nasdaq seems to always be more stronger, more favorable, I guess, by investors. So you can see for Nasdaq is already, like, you know, within the shoulders zone, but for the Dow Jones it's still quite a distance to climb. Okay, so it will take a bit more time lah. Okay, but overall I think it's quite in tandem in terms of the days that it's red and also green. So we can expect to see further stronger price movements lah. Okay. Okay, and then the S&P 500, it's actually using the previous neckline level as a support now, which seems quite valid. It will depend whether today close below or above. If actually it closes above, it's actually quite strong lah. Okay, it's about here. Okay, quite a strong level. Okay, so we will wait to see. Russell 2000, not looking that good, not really in tandem with the rest. This is more to the small cap 2000 small cap stocks, okay, which is usually what most people attack on to for capital gains lah. Okay, so this one seems to still be going down, and we will need to monitor and see, because the most recent rally in the US market was mainly dominated by the giant tech stocks, which will not involve the US small cap indexes. Okay, so it's not really in tandem together lah. Okay, but we will have to see what happens next week as well. Okay, so for the KLCI index, I think budget was announced today. I don't see much focus on the construction side, because actually you need more focus on construction for economic lah. Okay, but there's not so much of focus. However, I don't think the candle actually closed bad. It seems quite supported over here. Okay, the multiple down days have actually been overcome, and it's about this level of 1442. So we will wait to see what happens next week lah. Okay, this one is KSCI futures, so it's actually taking into account now as well. Okay, it's trading now as well. So the small cap index, like I mentioned, this is similar to Russell 2000. This one is doing not bad. So after the rally, the V-shaped rally, actually you can see it's something like this lah. Okay, and this one is something like this. Okay, you can see it's like a small channel over here. So it seems to be, still trading within this channel lah. Okay, so what I'm hopeful of is this one rebounds up to here and then comes down back, pulls back before breaking out this trend line. This trend line was actually formed from quite some time ago lah. Okay, 2021. Okay, it was formed from a very long time ago. I didn't pull it up to here. Maybe if I pull it up to here, you'll get something even longer lah. Okay, so I hope it will reach here, then this is some resistance. It will pull back before attempting to go higher lah. Okay, that's why I'm hopeful for the small cap index. Okay, the Hang Seng index is not doing well. Okay, you can see this candle is very bad. Okay, you can obviously see this is like a kind of bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing already, which is a signal that it may reverse. Okay, it may reverse. Is a signal only. So you can see that this entire body has engulfed, literally taken over the small green body on the previous day, which is not something which is good lah. Okay, so and then the next day it continued down. So if this continues, then most likely it will form another new low lah. Okay, so this one I'm not confident whether it will happen or not. Okay, the China index is also not doing well. A lot of news circulating saying that the China president, or the finance side, they're actually trying to find ways to stimulate the economy. They're finding ways to actually stimulate the stock market, but somehow it's not really working well lah. Okay, you can see it's attempting to re-challenge the low again already. Okay, which is not something good. So we will need to monitor and see what happens to the China side lah. Okay, even with the stimulus, it's not going up means there's something really bad about it lah. Okay, or maybe there's a recession coming soon. I'm not so sure. Okay, so next is Japan's index, Nikkei index. So this was a very strong rebound. This is literally a very nice hammer. It's quite textbook actually. If you really see the textbook is, if you have this kind of doji or hammer, the body should not touch lah. It shouldn't touch this one. And then this is kind of a textbook one after hitting this area, and it has continued climbing higher. This is kind of a long doji on top, which is not very good. We have to wait and see lah. Okay, whether this one is really a reversal sign or not. If it is, then it's kind of confirmed that you have lower highs already lah for me. Okay, oil, I think the war recently it has kind of ignited the oil price to go up as well. Okay, I think this was the day, Monday, where they mentioned that there was a war, so it actually gapped up and it's hovering around there, and then now going higher lah. Okay, so the recent high was about 96 and it's slowly climbing higher. Okay, so if oil price goes up, then of course your oil counters will follow lah. Okay, Uzma, Dayang, Charimin, okay, all these counters will actually follow. If it doesn't, then it will go down together lah. So when you saw, at this point, these 3 days and then another big fall, you will notice that oil counters in Malaysia were also dropping as well, because they depend on the oil prices. Okay, so this is a short US 100 index, which is coming down already. Okay, it seems like found resistance here, not able to go higher anymore. This is the short index for the semiconductor. Okay, this is the semiconductor ETF. This is VIX, volatility S&P 500 index, which is going up again. But this red candle looks quite good lah. Okay, it should be low. This is the US dollar index, which is climbing up again. This one goes up, usually stocks come down lah. Okay, it's usually the other way around. And also, of course, the US 10-year yield lah. Okay, it should come down if stocks were to go up. Okay, so that is all for the index reviews. Next, we will look into the stocks which I listed for case study lah. Okay. Okay, so for my list of case studies for next week, as usual, I will start with those which I feel may be stronger first, then it will slowly go down lah. Okay, but generally I think this week's stocks case study are quite interesting. Okay, despite a lot of people saying the market is not good, I think it's not bad. Okay, so before I start, just a disclaimer. So this entire video is for educational purpose only. There is no buy or sell call involved in this video. If you require a buy or sell call, please look for your remisier or your licensed financial advisor. Okay, the entire video was created by me just for educational purposes and should not be considered as a buy or sell call. Okay, so first up will be EG. EG is still forming lower highs along the way. Okay, if you actually look at it in this manner, it's still lower highs. It has not formed a higher high lah. Okay, it has also not formed a higher low. Okay, because actually if you look at here, it's still going lower lah. Okay, but actually I think I see some strength in it. It can also be just a technical rebound. Okay, after being oversold for so many days, it can just be a technical rebound, or it also can be maybe it has found bottom. Okay, it's two-way lah. Okay, but why I took it as a case study is because of the volume. Okay, look at the volume here. It's about 6 million. The volume here is about 17 million. Okay, so if we actually measure how big this candle is compared to this candle, the volume is almost there lah. Okay, almost proportionate. Okay, so there is some kind of buying volume coming in, which makes me feel, okay, maybe it has found bottom. Okay, because of the volume coming in. And if you realize that the volume throughout all these days, most of the days are quite low. Okay, these 3 days in particular are extremely low. These few days are low. Okay, and then but these few days quite high lah, selling volume, I think, together with the entire market as well. Okay, so it looks like there is some kind of buying interest coming in for the stock, and it will be good to monitor next week lah. Okay, to see where it goes. Okay, quite interesting. All of a sudden a high volume is coming in. Okay, so that's for EG. Next is SMRT. Okay, we put this aside. Okay, so if you look at SMRT as a whole, it looks a bit like inverted head and shoulders, a bit only. So, but it's not really. There is one neckline which is about here lah, 0.795. One like this, and one like this lah. We see weekly chart. No, weekly chart doesn't show. Okay, so anyway, we put that aside. We look at the shorter term trend. Okay, there was a kind of selling over here. If you look at it, there was some selling over here. I think this selling would have scared quite a lot of people out lah. Okay, because I think from the resistance level 0.795 until this level is more than 10% lah. Okay, it's quite scary to see something go down 10%. Okay, I think that goes for anyone lah. Okay, if you have 1,000 inside, you kind of lose 100 already lah. Okay, which is quite bad. And then after this day, the next day, there was a bullish engulfing coming in, which shows that the bulls have actually taken control. Okay, so from the bullish engulfing, it has continued going up. Even the gap down over here, I think in tandem with the market. The next day also, there was a huge candle. Okay, so if you're talking about this huge candle, I don't really like this candle, even though it's a full body candle, but you can see the volume is quite thin. Okay, it's only about 995k, whereas other days where the volume, where the candle is quite big, it's about 6 million. Okay, so okay, we put that aside. It has continued climbing higher, and on Thursday, the candle came out small body like this with a wick on top, but the next day you can see bulls took over again with a very huge bullish engulfing candle again. Okay, but one thing you need to know, whether you want to see whether it's a valid bullish engulfing or a bearish engulfing, it depends on location where it appears. Okay, so if you have a bullish engulfing appearing on an uptrend, it's of no function lah, because you are already bullish, and then your bullish engulf it will become a normal candle for me lah. Okay, your bullish engulfing should appear something like this, which is like a possible reversal candle. Okay, so when your bullish engulfing appears here and engulfs this, is a possible reversal lah, which is quite valid lah for this case. Okay, this one I'm not so sure, but there is a name for this thing. Okay, So at the moment it's quite bullish, but you can see it's met with some resistance at 0.85, quite clear lah. So many times already, 1, 2, 3, now it's the 4th time. Okay, so if let's say it's not able to, let's say it's not bullish enough, you know, or maybe the operator don't want to you know, see so much of resistance, see so much of sellers, most probably there will be a small pullback before they attempt to re-challenge the resistance of 0.85 lah. Okay, so if you look at it on a further scale, then you will see something like this lah, one big cup and then again lah. So it's like a cup and handle. Okay, just that this handles range is quite big lah. Okay, so that is for SMRT, quite interesting also. Okay, in a bad market like this also is still green. Okay, next is Redtone. Okay, if we look at Redtone, after the gap out over here, it's kind of consolidating, and actually today is still within the consolidation range. It's not like it broke out or anything like that, but again it's something like EG. There's a high volume coming in over here. You can see the volume is like double, okay, from the previous days of consolidation. So it's actually something good to have lah. Okay, so and the volume kind of doubles like this, it shows you that there is some bullish momentum, there is some buying interest coming in for the stock. Okay, so however the support and resistance has not changed. This one resistance I think confirm turn support lah, 0.69, while the resistance is about 0.74. Okay, still the same lah for me. Still it's kind of like sideways lah. It's kind of happening what happening here, and then it's happening here. So your technical analysis is basically studying history lah. Okay, what has happened before compared to what is happening now. So you can only have your resistance and support if it has happened before. Okay, like I can tell you that maybe this is a resistance level, okay, because previously got such thing. Okay, so it is kind of like, you know, you're taking the past data lah. Okay, so next is Bahvest. I think gold prices are shooting up quite high. Okay, so just let me just delete these old ones first. Okay, so actually if you look at Bahvest, it's kind of going up lah. Okay, but what is nice here, okay, this is kind of a textbook kind of pattern. You can see over here is one small cup over here. This is, I mean, this is normal lah. Okay, but you look at the volume over here. Okay, from the first day it's high, then it goes down until the base, and then when it starts climbing again, the volume spikes up again. This is kind of textbook lah. Okay, if let's say you read Mark Minervini's book, or you read William O'Neill's book, actually this is what they actually talk about lah. Okay, it's literally a textbook kind of thing, whereby the first candles of coming down should be red, and then is followed when it reaches the base, the volume becomes very thin, and when it's, you know, ready to climb higher, the volume comes back in. Okay, so that is, you know, kind of like a pullback lah. It's a very healthy pullback. So currently it's facing some resistance over here, 0.345. This one is what we call support turn into resistance lah. Previously it was a support, now it turned into a resistance already. Okay, so next week we'll see whether it's able to break up from this triangle or not, number one, and number two, see whether this washout was, you know, a successful one or not lah. If it's not successful, of course it will come back down again now. Okay, next is Dpharma. Okay, actually this stock not much interest lah. Okay, but what I realized is for Dpharma, actually if you look at this stock, BIMB, okay, you see when it was coming down over here, you know, this range, there's literally not much volume. Then you see there's high volume coming in here, but the stock's still going down. And then all of a sudden from here, the volume keeps climbing until here. Then it's slowly, the volume is kind of, the pattern changes lah. The green days high, then low, then go up again. The volume comes up higher again. You know, then here comes low again. I see a bit of similarity in Dpharma lah. Okay, red candles here. You know, high volume, very high volume, come down here. Then all of a sudden, you know, green candles are dominating back. So kind of, I just want to see whether it's similar or not lah, or same thing will happen or not. So that is why I listed Dpharma inside lah. Okay, anyway, generally Dpharma is a good company. It produces drugs. Okay, which you see in the hospital and clinics lah. Okay, so we'll wait to see, because the few days volume has been every single day has been higher than the 10 days average, which is something very healthy. Okay, so your support and resistance is as follows lah. Support and the resistance over here. Okay. Okay, next my EG. My EG is kind of forming like a double cup pattern lah. Okay, it may end up as a double top also. Okay, or it will just do a double cup pattern before it attempts to break out lah. Okay, so you can see the resistance is quite clear within this zone 0.835 to about 0.85. This one quite clear cut lah. Okay, so currently it hasn't reached there, but the nice thing to see is the support of 0.76 has been holding on quite strong lah. Okay, it's quite a strong support, no matter how you look at it also. Okay, here supported, then come down here, cannot break out because previous support become into resistance, and then after it went higher, then now this becomes a new support for it lah. Okay, so can say it's actually a very good support level. And then if you look at it here, it's something like this, and then like this. Okay, I wouldn't say this is a cup and handle pattern, because in a cup and handle pattern, your handle should only come to about 60% lah. Okay, of the cup. But if it goes lower, also it can form as a cup and handle. Just that is very prone to failure lah. Okay, this is also textbook not I create one. Okay, so it will need to come up to about this level 835 to re-challenge the resistance to see whether this time one is real or not lah. Okay, so going to be interesting. The volume for the past 2 days also has been high, and we see lah how. Okay, and then Eatech. So Eatech is basically broke out and sideways now. It's kind of the volume actually came in on Friday, so I think it's kind of going to re-challenge the recent resistance already. Okay, so you can see that it's here, then it's challenging the resistance over here, attempting to break out lah. Okay, so you can see the volume is coming up, and then like I told you just now, it's kind of textbook also. This one breakout volume quite high, but it's a weak because it's got seller still, and then followed by low volume for the few consecutive days, and then now it's like going to attempt again lah. Okay, so next week will be quite interesting to see whether the breakout actually works or not lah. Okay. Okay, next will be TEOSENG. I included this stock lah. Actually, this is the my watch list. Okay, these are all the days. Okay, when I add the stock in, it will show me when was the last lah. I actually took this stock as a case study on October 2nd itself, which is somewhere here. Okay, because it just broke out and it continued higher. So if you see today's budget, I assume most likely you will understand why lah. Okay, most likely it's because egg and chicken prices will be floating prices from here on, so likely there will be more profit lah. Okay, I assume. So TEOSENG has been going higher and higher, and I assume the support will be somewhere here. Okay, 1.23, and there's literally no resistance lah at the moment, unless you want to take this 1.42, which is like 2019 pre-COVID one. Maybe it's gonna hit pre-COVID level, I don't know. But at the moment, because I usually use 52 weeks high and 52 weeks low, at the moment there isn't really a resistance for it lah. Okay, so TEOSENG looks pretty good lah. Okay, another 52-week high stock or all-time high is WELLCAL. You can see that since this level, okay, 1.46 broken and 1.36 also broken, it's actually quite bullish lah. There isn't really much of a pullback except here, and then it's continuing going higher. Okay, just what I don't like is there isn't very high volume lah. Okay, I mean the days that it's climbing higher, the volume is not so healthy lah. Okay, you can see the volume is pretty low compared to this selling volume here and this breakout candle volume. Okay, that's the only thing I don't really like about WELLCAL lah. Okay, next is LIIHEN. LIIHEN has this triangle which was formed since, I don't know, very long ago, July 2022. Okay, and I believe the stock has finally broken out lah of the triangle. Okay, I think the triangle will be something like this. Okay, I think it has kind of finally broken out. I like the volume coming in. Okay, you look at these few days of pullback candles, all volume very low, means very cantik, very nice, and then it breaks out on Friday, which is today, with a very high volume. Okay, which is a very good thing to have lah. Okay, so if let's say it's able to break out and sustain, then it has actually already broken 152-week high already lah. Okay, which is a very good thing. So can continue to monitor and see. Okay, what happens. Good case study to have lah, this one. Okay, and the next resistance will be somewhere here lah. Okay, 0.925. Okay. Okay, next is HARTA. For this week, I only chose one glove stock because this is the only one which I feel the chart is nice. Okay, and it kind of follows what this trend line is. Even though this isn't really a valid trend line, this trend line only hit the point twice, which is not really valid. Usually you need at least 3 times. But it kind of follows quite well lah. Okay, so only HARTA lah for this week. Okay, so for HARTA, you see this is definitely the resistance level. Okay, this zone, and then it's actually, what I like about HARTA is actually it's forming higher lows lah along the way. So higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. As long as this it doesn't go below this low, then it's considered still healthy lah. Okay, so need to see whether it's able to break the resistance or not first. Okay, that is one main problem. So, but this is the only glove counter that I feel the trend is actually quite strong compared to the rest. The rest kind of like still going lower and lower lah. But HARTA seems to be quite okay. Okay, but the industry is supposed to move in tandem. Okay, not supposed to be solo, you know what, everyone is behind. Okay, doesn't really work that way lah. Okay, it can be HARTA going first, then the rest follow, or HARTA goes first, wait, then the rest catch up and then go together. Okay, it can be either one. Okay, okay. Next, this is MIKROMB. This is a very penny stock, so you can see that it's kind of like barcode lah. Okay, and I usually don't like barcode, but this one is a bit interesting for me. Because even barcode is so it follows the resistance and support level, which is here to 0.255. Okay, so you can see actually this one breakout very nice. This one very nice volume coming up, breakout already, then hold about here is 0.255 lor. Okay, then see lah whether the support can hold or not. Okay, but the volume on Friday not bad lah compared to the previous 3 days. Okay, but this is a penny stock lah, so if you actually look at the history, it looks a bit pump and dump also lah. Okay, you can see, you know, like here high volume, then every day low volume, and all of a sudden volume comes in, and then again no volume, and all of a sudden volume comes in again. Okay, just a case study lah, this one. Okay, okay, next is PUNCAK. PUNCAK looks quite good after the breakout over here. Gap up breakout, and then after that came back down. I assume is to close the gap lah. Okay, close the gap, and then kind of rebounded from this level of about 0.36. Okay, then it's slowly climbing higher. Okay, the thing with PUNCAK is it didn't really create a very nice base before going higher lah. Okay, so it's not so strong, but we await to see lah. Okay, currently I think the stock is facing some resistance already between this zone 0.41 to about 0.43 lah. Okay, you need to see whether this volume is real or not. If this volume is real, then most probably they will be able to continue pushing it higher lah. Okay, okay, CYPARK. This one also interesting in the sense that this was a inverse head and shoulders formation. Okay, very nice inverse head and shoulders formation over here, and then after that breakout shot up actually very high and then came back down. But why I included is because it actually came back down and hit on the trend line, on the neckline, which is the resistance level. Okay, very nice lah. Okay, I think previously TEOSENG also like that. This MIKROMB also like that. I can't think of other stocks for now. Sorry. Okay, so CYPARK is very nice. the moving averages was also quite nice lah. Okay, but I think these selling days would have scared a lot of people out because very heavy, like continuous red days. But the support looks solid lah. Okay, I took it as a case study for that only lah. Okay, next is RGB. Okay, RGB, I think it's settling down already since the QR was posted out. Then the director has some MACC cases, stuff like that, blah blah blah. I think the rumors, the winds are already settling down. You can see the volume is kind of not so horrible already. I think anyone who attempted to catch falling knife over here would have felt pain lah. Okay, I think it's quite bad over there. But subsequently it's kind of like, attempted to go higher, then considered this is the first point, and then it's stabilizing about this zone lah. Okay, so there's a likelihood that until the case resolves, it won't go higher, then it will just go sideways, then only make a decision lah. Okay, if it's bad, then it will go down lah. If it's good, then maybe it will go up. Okay, so it may form just something like this, or it will just like something like this lah. Okay, the head and shoulders that has not materialized after numerous weeks of me making it a case study, but I think it's still valid lah. Okay, I mean the inverse head and shoulders is still valid lah. Okay, it still hasn't broken down from this right shoulder. It's still like, building a higher base before it attempts to go higher lah. Okay, washouts are good so that you wash the weak holders out lah before you really attempt to break the resistance. Okay, so you can see that it came up to here 0.77, then seems like cannot break already, so push down. I think this one also quite a few bad days lah. Okay, then came down until here. This one can kind of consider engulf also, so engulf this one, then started climbing higher. Then recently you look at the volume over here, it's actually lower than normal, and it has been consolidating kind of sideways over here lah. So I think it was sideways, consolidate a bit, pull back before it attempts to re-challenge back. First it has to re-challenge about this 0.76, then I think followed by 0.78 lah. Okay, so there's some time to see whether this one materializes or not lah. Okay, then next is AZRB. This one actually broke out already with high volume on that day, but subsequently next day big red candle came out lah, and then gap down the next day as well. I think that was a real scary washout lah. Okay, and then subsequently it has kind of like settled down. You can see the volume is quite low, and then now the volume is coming up again lah. Okay, so kind of still within the triangle, or maybe the triangle is not really valid anymore. You have to make a bigger triangle already. Okay, but I think it's about there. It has not really broken down from the entire chart pattern lah. Okay, so I think there's some room to climb, and we will have to see next week lah whether this thing or not, because the volume for the past 3 days is not bad lah. Okay, I wouldn't say very good like breakout kind of volume, but it's not bad lah. Okay, second last stock is MFLOUR. This one is actually just consolidation lah. Okay, consolidation. But what I found a bit interesting over here is that that it has been higher lows forming lah. Okay, you see this is one low, then higher low. This one same, and then another higher low over here. Okay, so I don't know whether FLA is actually price going to increase or stuff like that or not. But looks not bad lah. Okay, every candle that attempts to break out is also considerably high. Not to say very high, but not bad lah. Okay, so you will have to see. This support seems to be quite solid, seems to be holding after a few days. We'll have to see lah whether this volume is real or not. Okay, but so far many days are coupled with weeks lah. Okay, so this case study will show you whether the volume with the real buying volume can actually overtake all these many days of long week sellers or not. Okay, and my last stock is MI Technovation. I think one of the only tech counters. No lah, got got a few lah. Okay, this one I think very hot during COVID era, one of those that ran up a lot. After that macam not so famous already lah. Okay, so you actually look at it over here, it's still in an uptrend. Okay, then build one base over here, then break out already, and then now building another base lah. Okay, with this level as a support. So this candle is not very nice, but it actually didn't close below the support, which is a good thing. And then now it's attempting to go higher, albeit with lower volume. Okay, so you can see here got a wick, and here also got a wick. So you will have to challenge all these resistance sellers before it can climb higher. Okay, so there is one bad thing about this week's lah. Okay, so in the coming weeks we will need to see whether the volume has started coming in or not and stuff like that. But in terms of the moving average, I think it's not bad. 50 days has already overcome 150, and 150 is above 200 also lah, which is a good sign. Okay, so we will need to see whether it can go higher or not lah. Okay, but chart wise, you know, it has come down quite a lot lah from the COVID era. Okay, so support and resistance remains the same. There are no changes for now. Okay, until they show another pattern lah. Then we will, if it really does, then we can use it for another case study. Okay, so that will be all for this week's case study. I hope you guys learn something a bit or more from the video lah. Okay, so before I conclude, again, disclaimer, this video is entirely for educational purpose only. You should not be considered a buy or sell call. If you require a buy or sell call, please look for your licensed remiser or your licensed financial advisor. Okay, this entire video is for educational purpose only and should not be considered as a buy or sell call. Okay, in conclusion, before we part, just some highlights on the budget. Construction counters will mainly push out in anticipation that budget will allocate quite a lot of funds into construction counters. However, not much were allocated into the construction counters. Okay, so you can see some red candles actually in the construction counters, no matter what counter it is. But I think Hapsing was green. I think IGM did not manage to break out. I'm not so sure about Gamuda. Okay, those are the giants lah. Okay, so market kind of rallied earlier this week in anticipation of the budget, but maybe there's not so much funds allocated for construction and to spur the economic growth lah. Okay, so next week you will need to see how the market actually digests and react to how the budget was placed. Okay, and from there you can see lah whether market is happy with the budget, accepting, you know, whether it's very good, whether it's neutral, or whether it's not in favorable lah. Okay, you also see foreign investors whether they like what they actually saw or not in the budget. Okay, so we'll see what happens next week together lah. Okay, that'll be all for this week. So thank you, bye bye.
If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.